Welcome race fans, Racing 393. Got another video coming up. If I do sound a little bit clogged up, it's because I am. So welcome to February and my first head cold of the year, and hopefully my only head cold of the year. So today what I'm going to try and do is another video on one of my favourite old school sims of rFactor 1. And I've been, over the last few sort of days, even weeks, what I've been doing is downloading mods from all over. I mean, they're quite hard to find now, what with various websites which have now gone, but I did find lots of Formula 1 mods. And one of them was, which seems to work pretty well, is the 2002 season. And as you can see there by the picture, we're actually in Nick Heidfeld's car from 2002 season. Nick Heidfeld raced in Sauber Petronas from 2001 until 2003. This car is not a rotary engine, as someone pointed out to me in my last video, so I apologise for that. I knew I'd said it, but I said a rotary engine had pistons when in fact it doesn't. So I knew that. It's just one of those waffling on things that I do. But this is a V10, 90 degree, normally aspirated. It's a Petronas badged as a Ferrari, so it had plenty of performance, and the cost of this, the team had to pay for the use of this engine, and the figures I've sort of come up with through research is in excess of £13 million. I mean, that is absolutely unbelievable for a team who, let's face it, had their day. They're pretty good, but they're not top flight, are they? And I don't even think nowadays, and they've changed their name now, haven't they? So you have to forgive me who they've gone to. I haven't researched that, but they're no longer Sauber as far as I'm aware. This car is a 7-speed sequential, as I said, V10, and we're going to be taking this car around another old track that these cars perhaps wouldn't have raced around in the configuration that it currently, well, the configuration that I've chosen, and that's in my respects one of the best motor racing circuits in the world, Silverstone from 1987. So it didn't have all those fancy chicanes. It's not a bad track now, I have to say. It's okay. Bit confusing, a bit misleading when you're on it, unless you know where you are. It's okay for the guys that race day in, day out, for real life or sim. I find it quite easy personally, but I know a lot of people don't. But this particular version is pretty much flat out, and I've got a voiceover. So basically, what I've done is recorded the race, and now I'm going to talk to you about it. It's surprisingly some of the features in rFactor 1 which some companies even nowadays are struggling to implement. In fact, Codemasters has only just, apparently, I haven't checked it, fixed the fix, and I'll go into that a little bit later. Anyway, enjoy the video. Enjoy a trip down memory lane. Well, I suppose you won't remember these cars going around Silverstone in that configuration, but we could all dream. Enjoy. So here's that was the start, or one of the starts of the race. Quite an aggressive AI behaviour. You can see that we are in Nick Heidfeld's car, going around Silverstone. But one of the interesting things is, back in 2005, August, when this game was released, maybe not the mod, I have to say, They even had a safety car implemented, which works reasonably well. It's not the best, but it's, you know, if you go as far as Codemasters 2019 and subsequent games, you know, all the others, the pace car was always the sticking point. And I mean, it depends who you spoke to, I guess. So as you'll see throughout this video, the safety car does come out, and that's where I kind of edit it to cut down the boring bits. So we've done a lap. This was supposed to be a 20 lap race. I mean, the cars sound, you know, as you'd expect the V10s to sound. I mean, there are loads of mods to do with this game, and rFactor 2's got tons of mods. Formula 1, some paid for, some not, and they're probably a lot better nowadays, aren't they? So, but this is something I missed back in the day. I mean, I had rFactor, the original, at some point, but I don't remember knowing about all the mods. You see someone else lost it there on wide, which probably caused another yellow flag. Looking at my editing, maybe not that time, maybe that was just one car. But the track was so much more flowing, more flat out, more damage, more bits. If Formula 1 was like that nowadays, I don't think it was like it back then, but I'm not sure if it would be a good thing or a bad thing. But the AI, you know, can be adjusted so that it's not quite as aggressive. I think I've got this set at, from memory, something like 18% for the aggression. And no wonder that Jaguar won't get around there. I've got no rear wing. And I've got the AI difficulty at 88 miles an hour. Let's go back in time. So I think the pace car comes back out again. I mean, even the cars behind the pace car are okay. You know, they're fairly well behaved. As I catch the pack up. And here we go for another restart. So it can be a little bit messy. I've actually taken my headphones out so that I can actually hear myself. So back off again to the restart for the first corner. It's going to be flat out right-hander. Just got, not sure who that was. And the BAR back then. Just squeeze past. So the false feedback. And the Jaguar almost goes off again, I think. Jaguar. The false feedback is Feel Real. It's an app, a plugin. Sorry, a plugin runs almost up to McLaren now. Look, there's no way I'm gonna get around like that. Yeah, so the plugin is for the game Feel Real. I'm not so sure. It doesn't work on every single mod, I must admit. I mean, some of the steering false feedback feels a bit normal. And actually taking it off of the plugin and using standard false feedback is sometimes better. It feels better. I've also got the butt kicker rigged up as well, so that tends to run really well now. With all you just plug and play. Although it is still in its infancy sort of adjustments. I'm not saying I've got it set perfectly, but for me it's not too bad. Doesn't sort of rattle the house down, and I can still feel the shifts. You see, I think that's the pace car again. I inadvertently started the race on low fuel. I forgot to change it, so I had to go in the pits. So I thought I'd show that bit. On the game, it had a pit crew. On the replay, it hasn't. I think it's because it must be a setting. Maybe a setting on the replay that I hadn't ticked. And out we go again. Put some fuel in. Didn't change tyres, I don't think, or it didn't simulate that. Go back out again. I think this is the start again, off to the restart. We'll get away from it a little bit there. Into the first corner. bit of bunching. I mean, it always seemed like Formula One almost seems on fast forward, but I would think the cars are pretty much as hair-raising as what this is making them out to be honest. I find this bend here is always tight, and you think normally, from my memory, third gear, is it? Oh, that's fifth. Oh, so I ran wrong part of the circuit. Someone spun off again. So the AI might be a little bit over exuberant. Didn't actually hit him then. Not sure who that is in the Benetton back in the day then. 2002. Is it Johnny Herbert? Not too sure about that. So following this Benetton around for a bit. I think there must be. I'm sure there was a safety car. Even on my editing I can't see it. That's down the main straight again. Fast right-hander. Into an even fast left-hander. I think this is the corner I was trying to think of. Down to third, yeah. I always seem to overshoot that one. So we are sort of following in the foot tracks of the car in front. I think they sound great, don't they? These V10s are probably one of the best. You cut me off there. There's obviously things like 94, V12s, were they? V8s. They were probably equally as good. I mean, that season here, the FIA, in their wisdom, was it 2000 or 2001? They introduced the groove tyres to try and slow these cars down. Like most things, the engineers and the clever people behind the scenes just make the cars go even quicker. And in this era, they were ferociously quick. So pedal shifts, 7-speed sequential, traction control, ABS, more of a calamity up ahead there. As we catch up. So the AI plays around pretty well. You can race them. I think it's admirable back in then that the AI has been programmed to do what it can now, and then there's plenty of cars that's got questionable AI in it. Plenty of sims with questionable AI. As you finally get past that Benetton, you can see I'm running about 33 degrees of FOV. You can't quite see the mirrors. We've got a good run there, but not on the brakes. The Ferrari's gone, which allowed the Benetton back past again, so we're still dicey. I'm not sure what position we're in. We're coming up to sort of the end of the show shortly, so we didn't actually run the full distance. Still battling with a good, 3 or 4 cars. There's a car, there's a Benetton behind me, and just seeing the mirrors, so. And I decided to, I'll do the stream up until the point of when, and if I crash, my keep it real thing. It was a genuine error on my part. But the slipstream works really well, having to use 7 gears when you're in the slipstream at times. That Benetton's got some grip on that outside, there's no way I could get past him then. And then that was where I went wrong, got hit at the back, we braked, and off I went. Well, there we have it, rFactor 1, F1 2002 in Nick Heidfeld. I hope you enjoyed the film, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.